Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Suhas Subramaniam of Virginia, who sits on the Oversight and Ethics Committees. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. One of the Republican signatures on this discharge petition is Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who is now being critical of Democrats' handling of these new emails. Take a listen.
I agree with the president that there is legitimacy in his argument where he says this is a witch hunt. Tell the stories of the Epstein victims, because I do believe this is a witch hunt with Trump. Look, this is a game that Democrats are playing. I think it's disingenuous to women, disingenuous to survivors, to everyone who has been through something like this. It is disingenuous.
Congressman Mace has always been a Trump ally, of course, but she was aligned with Democrats on the Epstein files before this latest email dropped by your committee. What do you say to her criticism?
This is the line that Republicans have to toe right now. It's very inconvenient, but the fact is they have to both defend the president no matter what he's said and done and says and does. And then they also want to get to the bottom of the truth, supposedly, about the Epstein files. And sometimes those two things come into conflict. And they're coming into conflict right now because the president doesn't want to release the files. And either there's something embarrassing about him or something embarrassing about his friends in the files. Whatever it is, we're trying to figure out those motivations. And that's part of the reason why we're releasing emails and other information where the president is named, is because we're trying to get at the motivation for why he won't release the files. But in any case, I'm glad she signed the discharge petition. It's too bad that we needed a discharge petition in the first place to get the House to vote on this matter. I hope to see a fully unanimous vote in the House, and that we can send this over to the Senate so that they'll vote on it as well, though they haven't been willing to do so. And then the president should, either way, see this pressure and release the files.
I mean, you just said you may have a unanimous vote in the House on these files. That's news to hear that. Yet you hear Mace, who seems to be a little bit more aligned with the president in the moment. Do you think his pressure campaign is working? We know he reached out to her, for example.
He's definitely trying. And again, if he had nothing to hide, why wouldn't he release the files? And why is he spending so much time, right, when we're trying to end a shutdown this week with Lone Borbor, right, and with Nancy Mace and with all these people and trying to pressure them into taking their name off of a discharge petition, which is very uncommon. I mean, there's clearly the way the president has acted throughout this entire year about this matter after 2 years of campaigning on it. It just boggles my mind. And part of what we're trying to figure out is what is the motivation behind this secrecy and this continued cover-up of this matter. Remember, the reason we're doing this in the first place is because there was cover-up after cover-up of Epstein's crimes because he was rich and powerful, and he had rich and powerful friends. And so we're trying to right that wrong and make sure people know that no matter how rich or how powerful you are, we are going to hold you accountable, especially for these heinous crimes against young girls.
I've talked to survivors who have made the point that this isn't a partisan issue, and this isn't just about President Trump. How do you make sure that this isn't just about President Trump and you keep that bipartisan push for transparency alive?
It isn't a partisan issue. I will say that the Democrats on the Oversight Committee have been kind of dragging the Republicans with us throughout this entire process because their constituents and their Republican constituents want answers and want the truth. But at the same time, they're trying to protect the president throughout this because the president, as was mentioned before, was very much intertwined with Epstein's circles. And, he and Epstein were friends, right? He showed up in the birthday book. He showed up in these emails. He shows up over and over again and the evidence that we're finding. And so the Republicans we're working with, yes, they want to come with us, but they're almost reticent to kind of fully look under every stone and get to the truth because they're worried that it'll make this president look bad. And they're seeing the way this president is acting, and they're seeing the same things as we are. And so they're concerned about moving forward with things.
Congressman Suhas Subramaniam, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.